The National Museum of Funeral History presents The Final Curtain Never Closes. I'm your host, Genevieve Keeney Vasquez, the president and CEO of the museum. So here we are embarking on the month of November. And there's several things in the month of November that I think are very informative, and I want to speak to those. Here at the National Museum of Funeral History, we have a fascinating exhibit to the Dia de los Muertos, known as the Day of the Dead. And that is traditionally in the beginning of the month of November. November 1st is considered All Saints' Day, whereas November 2nd is All Souls' Day. When you come to the exhibit, you're going to see some very fascinating things. It's very, very colorful. Lots of detail, and then there's an altar with a lot of items on it. And these specific items all have a meaning, believe it or not. If you see a donut on the altar, that symbolizes the circle of life, that we live and we die and life continues on. And the Day of the Dead really is to celebrate the ancestors who have passed before us. Cemeteries are a time for a family to go and clean it up, put down fresh flowers, and also have a feast to celebrate with their ancestors who passed before them. So, interesting enough, there's a lot of festival-type themes in a cemetery that are with the Latin American families. So if you go into even some of the cemeteries here in Houston, and you go to some of the sections that are very ornate, a lot of colors, and especially in the month of November, if you visit these cemeteries, you're going to see this celebration going on amongst the family. Again, it's there to celebrate those who have passed before them. It's kind of like a fun time, but they also know that there are specific icons that are very symbolic to the Day of the Dead. The La Catrina, a very well-dressed skeleton-shaped woman, she is symbolic in that no matter how wealthy you are, death will still come for you. And she actually is the one that's responsible for coming and taking you to your death. So when you see a sugar skull during the Day of the Dead celebrations, the sugar skull will usually have your name on it with a little poem, and that poem might read, "You were so busy working and successful this year that the La Catrina passed you by." And so it's kind of not only celebrating the ancestors, but being thankful that you were able to live another year and not be visited by the La Catrina. Some of the other interesting aspects to the Day of the Dead that people may not understand or know, but that you'll see laid out onto the altars, are the candles. The candles are a very important element because they light the way for the spirits to come to the ofrenda or the altar. If you see them at night in the cemeteries, the illumination of the candles help to guide the spirits back to the cemetery to their resting place for another year. Incense also are very important in helping guide the spirit through the scent. It helps them come back to where their loved ones are. Perhaps they prepared their favorite feast, and the fragrance or the smells of their favorite foods also help to guide them back home. And again, those same foods are usually served and eaten together as a family in the cemetery. And many of us know the tradition of the bread of the dead. We have a local bakery here in Houston that bakes loaves upon loaves of this amazing bread of the dead. It's a round loaf, again, signifying the circle of life, and it has crossbones on the top, symbolizing death. And the bread is used to nourish the soul. So they have bread and water set out so that the soul can be nourished on its journey, and it has water to quench its thirst on the journey. So very interesting, the different things that people put out for their spirit. Flowers are a symbol of the brevity of life and regeneration. There's a very, very significant flower known as the cempasúchil flower, or the marigold. And we all know that the marigold has a very distinct smell or scent to it. Again, that is also used to help guide the spirit. If you see toys in the altar, these toys are used to make light of death. Or if a child has passed away, they might place their favorite toy out on the altar for them to play with. And then tissue paper, the beautiful, beautiful, ornate tissue paper cut out kind of like a snowflake. The tissue paper symbolized the fragility of life because we all know tissue paper tears very easy. So there's a lot of neat, interesting things that are put out on the altars during the Day of the Dead. It's a Latin American holiday, and its celebration takes place on November 1st and November 2nd. So if you come to the museum to see the Day of the Dead exhibit, it is located in our International Hall, along with all of our amazing international exhibits to learn about the different customs and traditions from around the world. And then on November 11th is Veterans Day. Veterans Day marks the ending of World War I, the fighting that ended at 11 a.m. on November 11th of 1918, the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. And this day has become known as Armistice Day, a day of truce, of laying down the arms. As a veteran myself, I understand the significance of this holiday in celebrating all those who have signed up to serve their country and fight for our freedom at a moment's notice. There are times when I receive a thank you for my service on Veterans Day, but there are also times I receive a thank you for my service on Memorial Day. And I'd like to point out that there actually is a difference between Memorial Day and Veterans Day. So why do I find it odd to be thanked on Memorial Day for my service? Because I am still living. I did not die for my country. Although I was willing to die for my country, I am still alive. Therefore, my holiday is Veterans Day, and Memorial Day is the holiday where we remember all of those who sacrificed their lives for our freedom. So I hope that you understand now that there is a difference. When you have somebody who's passed away, thank their family members for their service. Thank their family members for their sacrifice. And thank those family members that their memory shall always live on Memorial Day. So let's thank all of our servicemen and women on Veterans Day and celebrate the sacrifices that they were willing to make and did make for those that came home with their battle scars. So we honor our veterans on Veterans Day by giving them free entrance into the museum the week of Veterans Day. So that'll be from November 5th through November 11th. If you come in and show your ID, usually most veterans have that designation on their driver's license, or they have a VA card given to them from a VA facility. Or if you have your DD-214 with you, be proud of that DD-214. Bring it in and show your pride. We would love for you to have free entrance into the museum to enjoy all of our amazing exhibits. But most importantly, enjoying our Veterans exhibit, which showcases Arlington National Cemetery, as well as 9/11, and a very interesting luggage cart that was used to carry the remains of the soldiers who lost their lives during war. This baggage cart was painted green and only used for the human remains of our service members. We also have a fascinating collection through pictures of the original dedication of the Vietnam Wall. So yes, please, veterans, come out and show your pride and visit the National Museum of Funeral History on Veterans Day. Thank you for joining me today on this podcast, and I hope that you will share this episode and our future episodes with family and friends. We look forward to any feedback you have to offer by giving us a review on Apple or Spotify, and we hope that you will join us for a virtual tour at www.nmfh.org. And always remember, any day above ground is a good one.